Hey viewers, please don't forget to subscribe if you like the channel. Let's go.
Story 1. Need help, caught my fiancée at a hotel with a guy. So let me try to sum this up and paint the picture as best as I can. Me 38 and my fiancée 40 have been together for 4.5 years and have a 20-month-old daughter together. She has a 19-years-old daughter from a previous relationship. So I would say the issues started after our daughter was born. She started complaining that I wasn't giving her enough attention, being attentive to her, I wasn't pursuing her anymore or taking her out. I tried explaining to her things are different because she have a child which requires a lot of our attention, and that I would try to work on those things. I recall one fight got really bad about a year ago and she told me she wasn't in love with me anymore and that the spark was gone between us and didn't know if it could ever get it back. So anyway, we ended up getting past that and moving on. About 2 months ago we got into a big fight because her older daughter was going for a cyst removal procedure and I didn't call to check up on her throughout the day, and I tried to explain I was extremely busy at work that day and that I couldn't. So she went off on me and how I'm selfish, narcissistic, a puss and only care about myself. I was honestly caught off guard by it, so I got angry in return and we just stopped talking. She was scheduled to go back to her country the next week to visit her mom and sisters. The whole week went by and we didn't talk or anything. I drove them to the airport and dropped them off and nothing, still didn't talk. She gets there and texts me, "We need to talk," and I'm still super angry about the situation and I tell her, "Go fuck yourself," and she replied, "Oh wow, okay." So she's there for 10 days and I only talked through FaceTime with my daughter. When she would pick up she would just hand the phone to my daughter. So we didn't speak that whole time and she gets back, I go pick them up from the airport, abs we're still not talking, very awkward. This is going on 2.5 weeks now, not talking. One day after work, it's the day before Halloween and I get home and she's showering and dressed very revealing and tells me she's going out with friends. Okay, I stay home with our daughter and she gets home at 6 a.m. The next day I went off on her, calling her every name in the book, whore, slut, etc., saying how she could be out till that time. She'd tell me that we haven't talked in almost 3 weeks and that she basically considers us not together at this point. We eventually sort of make up but didn't really get any real clarity on this, we're not together BS. So anyway, at this point we're talking, not how we normally would. She's acting sort of cold and distant but I'm trying to do little things to make her happy. One night after work I calls her and she tells me she's going out to eat with family at a restaurant, so I go there to surprise them. I get there and call and she tells me they changed their minds and went to a different place, so I ask where and she wouldn't tell me. Very strange. My gut at this point tell me something is up, so I order a tracking device and put it in her car. One day after work I call her 4x, she doesn't pick up. She calls me back and I hear an echo in the background like she was in a bathroom, so I ask her why she's calling me from a bathroom when she told me she was getting a massage. That why she couldn't just pick up the phone on the chair. She gives some BS excuse, so then I ask her, "I have a feeling something is going on, can you tell me the truth?" And she goes, "Why, you feel guilty, or you doing something?" And hangs up the phone on me. I check the GPS on the tracking device and it's right in front of a hotel when she told me she was at a massage parlor. Feeling of rage, betrayal, and just beyond hurt. So I steer driving towards this hotel and get there and see her car parked right in front. I sit and wait for about an hour and finally I see her walking out with a guy. I storm towards them, get in both their faces. God help me how I didn't put my hands on this dude and I cursed her out. The hotel called the cops on me. I was so irate, I was seeing red. I get in my car and drive home. She eventually comes home and tries to justify that she's been asking for me to be more attentive, fun, going out more passion, and that I didn't give it to her for over a year and that she had enough and that she considered herself single, that I pushed her to that point. So then she confesses that she's been talking to this dude since she went to her country about a month ago, and that he's been going to her job being her food. They went out to lunch, and the night she was out until 6 a.m., she was with him. But get this, she claims they never had sex, all they did was kiss and that it was more emotional than physical. Like, how stupid does she think I am? And gosh know how much information she's telling me. I'm sure there's much more to it. It's been 2 weeks now and I just feel disgusted at times. I get these vivid imaginations in my head of her fucking him. And I confront her about it and she will not admit to it. She even swore on both her daughters. IDK, where to go from here? I'm sure everyone will tell me to just leave, but it's not easy. Update. So it's been about 2 months since I caught my fiancée at a hotel with a guy and the sorry just keeps getting better. So since she told me she blocked the guy the first caught her with, then about a month later I catch her texting him asking him, "Where's my money?" I confronted her about it and she claims while they were having the affair, she claims she was single but it's BS, one of his kids got really sick and he need $900 for bills, so she asked her sister to lend him the money and now he's completely ignoring her and has her blocked, which leads me to believe this guy is mad hurt and probably thought she was gonna leave me for him. I didn't buy the story at first but I also saw her texting his daughter asking for the money so IDK. Then I catch her on WhatsApp with some guy back home, she's Colombian, constantly texting her and calling her beautiful and baby etc. Granted from what I saw she wasn't saying the same things back and sort of ignoring him, but still, the fact he felt comfortable talking to her like that bothered me. Lastly, since this all happened I feel like she still isn't affectionate, loving, caring at all towards me. I feel like she only chooses me because I'm the safer option, we have a house, a 2-year-old daughter, I'm more financially stable etc. Even the times where she sort of is, it just seems forced and fake. For example, it's like when I'm off work and I'm home with our daughter and she's working, she comes home and instead of being happy to see me, she greets our daughter with love and affection. All I get is her finding something to complain about around the house. I didn't do dishes in the sink, house is messy, I didn't do the laundry, I let our daughter take a late nap etc. It's just getting really tiring and I just feel like I'm just a convenience at this point, just helps her out with our daughter and the bills. And what's sad is, not to toot my own horn but I'm a pretty attractive guy and in great shape, I get a decent amount of attention from women and here I am sticking in this toxic situation, what's wrong with me? Advice 1. Hey dude. When she said she wasn't in love with you anymore, and there was no spark, she wasn't kidding, and it hasn't changed. You didn't work past it, you rug-swept it. She told you, and you are in denial. As far as she is concerned, you have agreed to the new rules. When it finally comes to a head, she is going to say, I told you, but you didn't want to believe it and wouldn't listen. This is now a marriage of convenience, not one of love and passion. It doesn't matter how good looking you are if there is no connection and intimacy. Now, here's a fact, the more you chase her, the more turned off, and put off she will feel. She will interpret it as neediness, and it will make you look weak and pathetic. Advice 2. Oh sweet soul, wake the hell up. Just cause you all have a kid together doesn't mean stay. You need to set an example. Also you should get a DNA test to make sure she's yours. This person you choose to stay with has zero respect for you. Why do you stay with her? She is just staying with you because you are safe and you take care of her child. This isn't something to work out. She does not respect you and never will because you didn't have enough self-respect to leave her. You caught her cheating, why are you with her? Also, regardless if he did or didn't borrow money, she shouldn't have been texting him. She could have gave her sister the number and have her to get her money back. Better yet, she should just pay her sister back and take the loss. She does not love you. She does not care about you. She does not even respect you, and again, she never will. You will never be able to trust her, so why are you together? Story 2. This is going to be a long one, so please bear with me on this one. I was dating a guy for a year and a half. Recently we went on a vacation and I took his phone to send myself some pictures and saw a few suspicious texts. I looked more into it and after confronting him, he confessed that he had been talking to his ex the whole time. Not just talking, but he also physically cheated on me 2+ times. One of those times being 2 weeks before our vacation. He's the last person on this whole universe who I expected to cheat. It turns out that his ex was manipulating him with suicide amongst other things, which I kind of witnessed. But that still doesn't justify why he would continue to give her that window to talk to him and why he would physically cheat on me. He wanted it, at some point. He's incredibly distraught since then and so am I. I never thought I would look back at something so horrific, but here I am. He's completely changed since then and he's admitting to his mistakes while saying that I'm the only one who he's loved and will ever love. But what kind of person cheats on a person they love for a year and a half? It doesn't make sense to me. If I'm with someone I truly like, the thought of being with someone else doesn't even come to my mind. I'm having a really hard time grappling this whole situation. I've become toxic, insecure and underconfident because of this situation. And I genuinely don't believe we can come back from this, but he's been asking for one chance to fix himself and fix this. I think I deserve someone who is as loyal and strong-minded as me. And he's clearly not that. Should I be waiting around for him to get his shit together? I've been trying to make him understand that for him as well, moving on will be much easier than getting back with me. That it's a much better option, but he's not ready to let it go. I'm really confused as to what to do. Thankfully I have a good support system, so I have the space to take my time and think about this. I wanted to take a few stranger opinions as well. Can anyone ever come back from cheating? Is it worth giving it a try? Update. 1 year later, if you are considering getting back with your cheating SO, please read this. Okay. So at the time of writing this, it's been more than 6 weeks since I've broken up with the mentioned ex. Both of us tried extremely hard to make it work, for almost a year and a half. There were ups and downs, some genuinely beautiful and loving moments, some outbursts, some fights, but mostly it remained surprisingly peaceful. After the cheating incident was brought to light, I wasn't able to immediately go no contact. I stuck around for a good 3 months before I decided we desperately needed some time apart. I know I did at least. For the next 2 months we went no contact, and honestly I did not miss him. I just didn't. It would not matter to me if he didn't text all day. For the most part one wouldn't even realize. I became indifferent. But at that point it would still sting, the heartbreak was still relatively fresh. And so when we met again, he convinced me to give it another chance. I could see that he had reached some level of maturity in that period of NC. He tried really hard. I made him go through some real fucked up shit, as I would go into fits of rage from the hurt and target all of it at him. I would say mean, nasty things. I wholeheartedly believe that this was the result of me not getting time to get over it. I don't blame myself for being mean and nasty over having to face the guy who broke my heart. But it was still horrible nonetheless. Again, my point here is that when you go through something as astronomical as being cheated on entire time by someone you planned a future with, the hurt is unreal. The pain is unreal. So is the feeling of deceit and anger. If you are someone with self-respect and are usually pretty clear about things in your life, this will be a humongous step back for you. You're forced to love someone back after they've done the one fucking thing they knew would break your heart. So you will feel yourself having immense amount of rage, which will translate into toxicity. And your SO would not be able to say anything, because well, they cheated. And you will be triggered by things you never did because well, you were cheated on. It will create a very unequal, unfair space for a time at least. And it's fine, by the way, it should. You shouldn't be going in with open arms. With this I at least knew he was determined to get through to me. I knew the dynamic would shift unfairly after that. I communicated this with him as well, that the effort would not be worth it. That I might be able to forgive, but I certainly won't forget. He insisted on fixing it all and giving us another chance. But nevertheless I didn't like the toxic and spiteful person I was becoming, and I decided to dial it back. I decided to give it a proper chance and try my best as well. Cut to a few months later, we were actually doing pretty good. We went on a few vacations together, hung out every weekend, and pretty much everything went to normal. To the point where my closest friends gave the green signal and started showing faith in him. I think I completely got over the blatant fact of him cheating on me. But the funny thing is that opened up my eyes to so many other red flags that I had completely missed. When he was caught, it took me a really long time to get him to admit his mistake and stop downplaying. It took me literally making him understand that the other girl was never the villain. He was. For stringing her along. I don't know, the fact that he took so long to finally admit was ridiculous. He was either manipulative or plain stupid. This showed that he was not an honest person who owns up to their shit. The same applied to other aspects of his life when I looked at it later on. It didn't occur to me that this guy had established zero relativity between action and consequence. And even worse, he thought of himself as a fairly good person who keeps falling in unfortunate consequences. A bad person who knows what they're made of is much better than a bad person who genuinely believes they're good. He was ready to put the entire blame on the other girl to save his skin. I was extremely supportive throughout the tenure of our relationship. It is but obvious that I won't give out the same energy anymore after you've literally cheated on me. He struggled to understand this simple fact. He started depending on me a little too much and got offended over the fact that I'm not the same anymore. Of course I'm not the same anymore, you ruined any innocence, selflessness I had within me. Of course I won't go out of the way. At one point, I started finding him unattractive. For me, he started becoming a man who had no self-respect, would go to any level to avoid consequences, had a twisted way of thinking that barred him from experiencing proper raw guilt. I don't get irritated easily, and him chewing food would start to piss me off. His mannerisms, the way he slept, everything would irritate me. We would never have equal arguments, it would always be me talking and him trying to apologize to shut me up. I think somewhere around this time I also realized most of his softness is just not having a backbone. That he wasn't a calm and cool-headed person who never gets angry, he was actually incapable of getting angry, having self-respect, taking things to the heart, wanting vengeance, showing aggression. I know all of these are negative emotions, but I really believe at some point you need these to bring in long-lasting change. I think another point to note is that normal people feel shitty after doing shitty things. So did my ex. But normal people also try to find a way to get over it. Anything that works for you. I had to act as a therapist for my ex and make him understand that he is bound to feel bad and shitty for some time. 'Cause he did a shitty thing. You have to get past that. There's no other way round, and that he should go to therapy. He was upset over the fact that I wasn't there for him like he was there for me after he cheated on me. The past few months it was just, yeah, I made a mistake, sorry. But can we please work past it now? He never understood that behind a true apology, people introspect and bring conclusions and then apologize. He'd just say sorry and never think of it again. He did not understand the fact that I, someone who he cheated on, cannot coddle and help him for him feeling terrible for cheating on me. No sir, I cannot be the person who does that. No thank you. If you are considering to do or doing that, please re-evaluate yourself. The last straw for me was him victimizing himself over the absolutely stupid and reckless financial decisions he makes. Financial maturity is extremely important for me, and this is where I absolutely lost it for him. He threw a huge tantrum over how dare I leave him and how it isn't fair. I just said that it isn't. It's never fair, he has to live with it. But I'm done. This conversation just happened yesterday as I offered to send his things back. First he just asked to meet, then he blew off on me and called me names. Asking why I did not break up the right way, meeting and ending things. He said I broke him and made him feel shitty. That my actions were horrible too, and that I'm shitty for leaving him when he couldn't get his shit together when he was there for me when I was feeling shitty because he cheated on me, by the way. I'm finally at the junction where I've completely let go of him in the past, and am looking forward to better things this year. I also don't wish him any ill, and I hope he can get it together for his own sake. Like this shows so much of lack of critical thinking lol. I had told him long before he'll resent me for the shit I'll put him through in order to make up for what he did. And there was no guarantee it will go back to what it was. At many points I made it known that I was unhappy, I was not feeling attracted to him anymore. He brushed it off every single time and then got mad at me for breaking up over this seemingly small mistake. He was financially reckless. Let me tell you guys something, cheaters more often than not lack personal responsibility and accountability. These are the people who do not think much, and quite frankly have low critical thinking skills. They will be reckless, and they will test your patience and push your boundaries. They will pile up on you. I genuinely don't believe cheaters can change after this incident. To each their own, but I certainly believe that at adult age, if you can make this stupid of a decision, you could make it again definitely. It literally takes nothing to not cheat. Even more if you're in a happy, satisfying relationship. You have to be extremely dumb to ruin something like that. Cheating is one thing, but even after getting over it, this incident helped me take off the rosy shades and look at him objectively. It helped me identify all the potential red flags I would face. Cheating is not just a fault in character, it's a decision people make with all that they have up in their head. You have to be a real piece of work to do that. If you've made it till the end of this post, thank you. I'm going to work on myself this year and aim to achieve my goals. I wish you all lots of love and happiness too. This is a really helpful community. Random strangers rallied up to me when I posted last year, and most of them are the reason I was able to look at it objectively. Nothing but love and gratitude to you guys. Cheers.